The dowel joint is a simple joint which can be made quickly and easily with a drill and wooden dowel. It is also a relatively strong joint which, if made correctly, can withstand as much pressure as a mortise and tenon joint. It is a versatile joint which can be used in both a flat frame and carcass construction, and is commonly used in furniture making and to join wooden boards from edge to edge. It can also be used to reinforce various other joints like halving joints. Dowels, which are cylindrical pieces of wood, can be bought in longer lengths and cut to size or bought pre-made. In this video I will be using pre-bought fluted dowels which have grooves in them to help expel air and excess glue from the dowel hole, and a bevel edge to allow the dowel to be easily inserted into the hole. There are various forms of dowel jigs on the market to help alignment when drilling the joint. However, in this video I will show you a simple and accurate technique which does not require a jig, but uses dowel centre points which are much cheaper to buy. Set your marking gauge to half the thickness of the wood, in this case 8mm. Secure your wood in the vise and ensure the marking gauge is centred by making a mark from the opposite edges. Check if the mark is in the same position, and if not, readjust your gauge until it is. Now mark a line along the edge of the wood and go over it with your pencil. Now take your steel rule and measure and mark where you want the dowels to be centred. In this case, 2 dowels will be used and centred 15mm from the edge. Use a tri-square to mark your lines perpendicular to the existing line. There is no right or wrong number and placement of dowels. The more dowels you use, the stronger the joint will be. However, consider the diameter of the dowel you're using, as you do not want to be drilling holes too close together. When drilling wood with a cordless drill, always use a lip and spur, also known as a brad point drill bit, as it will ensure a higher degree of accuracy, as the sharp point known as the spur will help locate and maintain the desired position of the hole. The drill bit should be the same diameter as the dowel and dowel centre point, so in this case 6mm. The dowel I will be using is a pre-cut 30mm fluted dowel, and I am using 16mm thick wood, so I will drill 2/3 of the dowel length into the end grain and 1/3 into the face. Again, there is no set rule for the depth of the dowel hole, as it will depend on your wood thickness and dowel length. Once you have established your hole depth, take a piece of masking tape and place it around your drill bit at the measurement required for your depth. In this case, 20mm. Place your drill bit in a cordless drill and set the speed to medium. Drilling on the end grain can be difficult, so when placing your drill bit on your mark, ensure the spur is pressed down fully into the wood before turning the drill on. Once the spur has been pressed down, press the drill trigger fully, ensuring the drill is straight. Drill down to the masking tape and pull out the drill while still pressing the trigger. Now repeat the process for the other hole, again making sure the spur is pressed in fully before starting to drill. Because we will be using the dowel centre points to mark the position of the holes on the face, it does not matter too much if the holes on the end grain are slightly inaccurate. Take your dowel centre points and place them into the holes you have just made, ensuring they are pressed fully in. Now take part B and line it up against a tri-square handle or other right angle. Line up part A with the tri-square blade and press firmly against part B. Now take your pencil and make a mark where your centre points have produced an indentation. If you are doing the flat frame variation of the joint, simply repeat the process with part B being laid flat. One of the reasons we drill into the end grain first is that indentations are much easier to see on the face or edge of the wood. At this stage, if you have a pillar drill, it is best to use this as it will ensure maximum accuracy for the second holes. Set the depth stop to the required depth, in this case 10mm, and ensuring your spur is lined up with the centre point indentation. Drill the holes. If doing the flat frame version of the joint, repeat this process on the edge of the wood. If you do not have a pillar drill, reset the masking tape to the required depth, in this case 10mm, and place the drill bit back into the cordless drill. Secure part B to the bench and line up your spur with the centre point indentation. Ensure the spur has been pushed down and your drill is straight. Now drill down to your masking tape guide, then repeat for hole 2. Insert your wooden dowel and test fit. If there is a gap between your wood, this means your dowel holes are not big enough and will need to be made bigger. If this is the case, drill down into your end grain dowel holes the size of the gap. You have now completed the dowel joint.